Just on this topic of, I guess, phase transition or economic transition, high yield's an interesting one, right? Because to your point, high yield's really not signaling any sort of phase transition.
Signaling all-time highs.
Yeah, and I think part of it is probably in corporates, you're going to see a lot of continued improving cash flow. Jordan talked about Red Rock today and how he thinks they're going to beat on EBITDA by 20%, earnings by 60%. So we still have a lot of kind of follow through from improved cost structures, better balance sheets.
That's a really good point, Jonesy.
So there's a reason. There's fundamental component to why high yields trading tight.
So if you take what Jonesy just said, that's a very important point. And Jonesy runs our research team and was trained, originally as a bottom-up analyst, right? So when you flow what he just said, we're going to have the best quad 2 outcome for revenues and cash flows that you're ever going to see. None of that's been reported yet. It's been front run by the market, but it's not been reported yet. So again, when you take, these are the pods. Pods, okay? The pods came before the quads. So instead of GDP growth, we have revenue growth, okay? Revenues, instead of inflation, we have your cost structure and or related cash flows. Your EBITDA, as Jonesy said. EBITDA. So once you have this and this, right, pod 1 is ripping. Pod 2 is ripping. What you get is pod 3, which is the free cash flow, ripping. What do you do with the free cash flow? Well, you have a whole bunch of things you can do, which is you can take your balance sheet and you can go buy back stock. We're going to show that on the macro themes deck. Buybacks accelerating in kind. Remember the time when we were buying back a lot of stock? Companies were when we got out of the dark period, when you got a quiet period, and then they can go back and buy back the stock. So you got that's going to be happening this summer as well. A whole bunch of things are going to be happening this summer. So if you don't have a research team to break it all down, you're going to miss a lot of the parts. If you're just asking the guy who invented the quads and the pods when the timing is, that's why you tune into us every morning.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about pods is, applies slightly different to different sectors. Like Brian, who's been doing this since we started Hedgeye, I think looks at inventory, right?
Yep.
So inventory declining is a huge indicator in the retail sector, which is part of the reason he's been crushing it lately too. Mm-hmm. Inventory just got taken down across the sector.
Yeah, we're going to use, guys, on slide 31. You go to slide 31 in the current, this will be now the old macro deck as of 11 o'clock. I think it just got through compliance, so they're printing it up. Hot off the presses it's about to be. Again, Macro Pro subscribers get access to that in real time. So these things, Jonesy, they don't just reconcile themselves because Rosie or somebody says that shouldn't be happening or didn't happen or should, wouldn't, or keep happening. These take a long time. Go to the next one. CapEx too. So at the end of the day, you're not going to get the end of the day till these companies actually and quite literally say, hey, look. Actually, Rosie did say this. He said productivity would be good. So what we did actually in the deck, we did a slide for Rosie that shows the acceleration in productivity. Because he said that would be really good. He said the labor market accelerating would be really good. We're going to get both. I got him to say both.
Yep.
So I'm going to show you both. Because what we do, that's what we do. So you have all what we call microquads, all the data within the data that is you're going to have a lot of quad 2s. Again, a lot of you are being triggered by this thought that we're in quad 4. The people that bought gold at 1900, 1910, 1920. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? I don't know what you're thinking, but it certainly wasn't what I was thinking, right? What were you doing on Friday? Selling the financials, selling them on the open. Well, what are you doing? That's not what I'm doing. So it's a good, healthy debate, right? I love you. You guys know I love you all. But I prefer, and I really love, to not screw this up myself. So I'm focused on it, and we're going to keep giving you all the moving parts.
Okay.
The best question should be, are people bullish enough? Who is calling for all-time highs and SPYs other than our risk range signal? Who is set up for that? Why aren't these the questions we get?
Yeah.